Hi guys, welcome to this yoga channel. Today we're going to do a couple of really nice movements where we combine a couple of different philosophies. We're going to use something from Qigong. We're going to use something from Do-In, which shiatsu therapists use often to get back into their body before they do a practice or a session. We're going to do some yoga. And I always just move by intuition, really. So just follow my guidings, my pointings or pointers, and you'll be fine. So I will give you a couple of different varieties so that you can go deeper into a pose. But above all, I'd like you to just use your breath and stay in the moment. And I hope you're going to enjoy this session. All right, so let's come and stand with your feet maybe a bit wider than your hips. I often like to start this way to get into the body before we go really into some more active movements. We just start to get into our body by moving around a little bit, by swinging the arms in this way. So with your feet a bit wider than your hips, you can just start to tap onto the front and to the back of your body. Now my knees are slightly bent and I just can even use it to make this movement a bit more intense or deep without having to do that much more. Just bending the knees when you come to the forward and then straightening it a little bit when you move to the left or the right side. And with your hands, just very lightly, you tap onto the chest, onto the back where your kidneys are. And let's don't forget the breath. Let's move into that breath. You don't have to breathe as fast as you swing your arms. As long as you are aware of it, maybe you can find a nice rhythm here. All right. And then moving the upper body from one side to the other, maybe with your shoulders coming up. And then bring one arm into it, then the other one. And you start moving very creatively. I'm not really doing anything, like there's no choreography here. There's just me thinking I want to move to the left, to the right. So you can be creative here. There's no way you can do this wrong, as long as you just express yourself. Find your breath. Maybe you can lengthen and then twist a bit, reaching up for the ceiling, to the sides, down. All right. So coming back to the middle a little bit. With your hands, you can start to massage your head. So often use this as a lot of acupressure points on your head, on the sides, on the top. So with your fingertips, just start circling over the skull. You can close your eyes if you want. You don't have to. To the back, on the top of your skull. It might even give you some extra volume in your hair. It's a nice extra benefit. All right, then move your fingers to the forehead. I just start rubbing it, going up and down, just getting that blood flow going in your skin, to the next to your eyes, next to your nose. With your index finger and thumb, maybe squeeze your eyebrows. Sometimes there's so much tension going on here. It's nice to just squeeze it out. And with your fingers bent, you can just rub out that sleep out of your eyes. Going back to your jaws, just relax your mouth. Just keep it slightly open and then start to press your fingertips into that jaw muscle, that strongest muscle in your face. You might sometimes clench it when you are in a stressful situation, when you think of something that you don't like. And often even in our sleep, we process all these negativity, all that energy, and then you wake up, you think, what the hell have I been doing? And you get a headache. But just also again here, squeezing the jawline all the way to your chin, bringing the hands to the back of your neck and where the muscles attached to your skull, next to your neck, the spine, on the left side and the right side. Bringing your hands to the front, squeezing the throat. And let's bring the right hand. Let's bring the right hand to the left shoulder, the trapezius. And with my fingertips, I'm just hooking. I sometimes refer to it as like playing the bass. You're just hooking your fingers behind those muscles and those tendons as well, just massaging them. Maybe you can let your left hand just hang for the moment. It might be a bit painful for some of us. So just use your intuition to see how intense you want to do this. Just a couple of times. And let's switch sides from the neck maybe down, but especially those trapezius at the shoulder muscle, at least the upper shoulder. And just doing it a couple of times. Now, you can, with your right hand, support the left elbow and start to tap onto that muscle from your neck down. And then you let go of the elbow. You let your arm go to the front and tap on the outside. When you reach your palm, you turn the palm up to the ceiling and you start tapping up. And just keep that breath alive, coming over your chest. Now bring the right hand to the left shoulder. Maybe the left hand supports the right elbow. And again, you start tapping here. Then stretch the left arm to the front in a gentle way. Start tapping on the outside until you reach your hands. Turn the palm up. Tapping up again, and then start to use both hands, just very light fists. If you lean a little bit to the right side, you can also tap onto the sides, your left flank in this case. So all the lungs are here as well. Maybe even a little bit on the back. Moving to the other side. Back to the middle, head towards your stomach, just hidden behind the ribs, a little bit underneath your solar plexus, your diaphragm. And if you move to the left, your pancreas, your spleen. Again, you can move a bit to the right to give it more space. Try not to tap it too loud. Come back to the middle, to your gallbladder, your liver. Back to the middle, and then your intestines, your small intestines around the navel, but also your larger intestines on the outside. And bring your hands towards your kidneys. So I like this routine. It's really nice to awaken the body. So I'm tapping here into my kidney area. I'm just bending forwards mildly. I'm just going to turn to the front again, but let's keep on tapping onto the buttocks. Look to the side so you can see what I'm doing here. So tapping onto your buttocks, maybe your sacrum even. And then tapping on the outside and back of our legs. Find your breath, relax your head. Slowly going back down towards your feet. And when you've reached your feet, you turn the knees out a little bit so that the arches of your feet come off the floor, and you start tapping on the arches, the inside of your feet, slowly up over the calf muscles, past the knees, the inside of our upper legs, the front side as well, into the groin. All right, and roll those shoulders up. So it's just a very easy routine. You don't even have to go into warrior poses here to activate the body, but we will go deeper into this practice a little bit. All right, drop your chin to the chest, make a couple of circles here. So this routine is easy for any kind of person, really. Even like older people could do this, people who are really stiff. You just start making head rolls here, breathing in when you go up, breathing out when you go down. Coming back to the middle. Take those shoulders up on an inhale, drop your head down, and exhale, drop them. Let's do it 2 more times. Breathe in, take your shoulders up. And last time, breathe in. Oh, nice. Coming with your feet a bit wider. This sequence is a Qigong sequence that I once learned from my Yin teacher, Paul Grilly. And it's a really nice way to start stretching the body a bit more. So we just started tapping and we're just building it out. So with your feet a little bit wider than your hips, as you can see, my toes are pointing like forward, maybe a little bit out. Bring your hands next to your hips, palms facing forwards. And on an inhale, you take your hands up and look past your hands to the ceiling. On an exhale, bend your knees and you're gonna take your hands behind your heads, sit deeper, and push the palms up into the open horse. That's how you can call this pose. Maybe you sit a little bit deeper. Exhale, bend forwards. Now, I'm gonna do it slowly the first time. So you place your right fingertips on the floor, turn your right toes out, and on an inhale, you open up the left side, taking the left arm up into a twist. And on an exhale, we're gonna switch hand and foot position. So the left hand comes to the floor, right toes turn forward, and this time the left toes turn out. Inhale, the right hand goes up into this twist again. And exhale, turn the left toes forward as well, bring your hands down to the floor, and with your palms facing up, your knees slightly bent, you inhale. When you reach your shoulders, press the palms up the other way, look to the ceiling. And now on an exhale, we're going to come into a drinking bird, bringing ourselves forward and down, the arms back behind our head or behind our back. You can interlace your fingers or you can just stretch your arms out. Breathe out through the nose, feel that stretch. Now sit deep. Inhale into the rocking horse. Pull your belly in slightly, maybe engage your pelvic floor muscles. And again, we're gonna go to the drinking bird. So exhale. Maybe with interlacing your fingers, opening up the shoulders a bit further. Then take your hands down to the floor again with your palms facing down. Your knees slightly bent. You inhale and keep inhaling when you reach your arms all the way up. And it's like guiding the energy that we collected back down in front of our body. Let's do this 2 more times, but a bit faster. Breathe in, take your hands up, look past the ceiling. Exhale, sit deep, press your hands out into the open horse, maybe sit a little bit deeper. Exhale, bend forward, right fingertips stay on the floor, right toes point out. Inhale, the left hand goes up into this twist. Exhale, switch hands and foot position. Inhale, the right hand goes up. Exhale, take both hands down, and like taking water out of the sea, you inhale. When you reach your shoulders, press the palms up the other way. Coming into the drinking bird, bend forward. Bring your hands behind you, maybe interlace your fingers. Keep on exhaling. Bend the knees deep, coming to the rocking horse. Sit deep, pull your belly in, take your hands up. And again, the drinking bird. Hands to the floor. With your knees slightly bent, you inhale and pull the energy out of the earth with your palms facing down all the way up. Exhale, guide your hands back down. If you feel a little bit lightheaded, take one extra breath for the last time. Inhale, bring your hands up. Exhale, sit deep, hands behind your head into the open horse. Come to your deepest seat. Exhale, bend forward. Right fingertips on the floor, right toes point out. Inhale, left hand goes up into a twist. Exhale, switch hand and foot position. Inhale, right hand goes up. Exhale, take your hands down. And like taking energy out of the earth, you slowly come up. And exhale, guide it back down. All right, close your eyes for a moment. Just notice your breath. Notice the temperature of your body right now, your heart rate, and you might feel it pumping, the beating of your heart. All right, so let's come down to the floor. Maybe you need a towel for your knees, but come onto your hands and knees. On an inhale, open up your chest, look forward to cow and cat. Exhale, round the spine. And the next time you come into a cow and cat, you might want to bend the elbows slightly, open up your chest. Exhale, round the spine, press your hands into the floor, push your back to the ceiling, pull your navel in, exhale through the nose. Inhale, open up. And then take one shoulder down to the floor first, then the other one, and start to push back up and maybe look over the left shoulder or the right. So I want you to move in any kind of direction that feels good. So try to use your intuition here. It doesn't matter. You can't do this wrong. You can look over the left shoulder. You can look over the right. Use your breath. Bringing your knees as wide as the mat and drop your buttocks towards your heels. Now I'm pressing my hands into the mat, and whilst pressing my hands, pressing myself away from my hands, I move my hips from the left to the right. So I'm opening up my hips. And take your hands towards the left. So we're gonna open up the right side. So we're gonna give a nice stretch for the right side, breathing into it, and maybe even pressing the right hip actively back. Relax your face. You can close your eyes and just focus on that spot in between the eyebrows, so just to calm down your mind. And slowly moving to the other side. So we get both sides an equal chance to open up. Last exhale here. Coming back to the middle. And then slide your hands forwards. So I'm coming all the way to the front. And I drop my hips down. Now my feet want to move out. And I'm pressing my hands into the floor. So I've got my hands as wide as the mat. And my fingertips are pointing out. And I'm moving from the left to the right. But try to use your head as well. So you can make circles here. Moving into that shoulder girdle. Then looking over the left and the right shoulder. As long as you use your breath. And then come back. So we're going to work on opening up the front sides of our legs. Those hip flexors, the quads, all these muscles that we use or that we shorten when we work behind the computer. So placing the right foot, in this case, forward. If you've got any problems with your knee, place a blanket or a rolled up towel underneath your left knee in this case. So let's start bouncing back and forth. So we can do all kinds of movements here, but we're going to take it easy right now. Today is going to be a mild class. Maybe you want to stay here and you just notice the stretch. You notice the sensation, you breathe into it and try to calm down your mind. If you want to come any further, maybe walk the right foot a little bit out and place your hands on the inside of your front foot. Again, just take a moment here to feel that sensation, so you don't have to always feel it straight away. Maybe after a couple of breaths, you start noticing, oh yeah, this is how it is for me today. If you want to take it a little bit further, maybe you can place your left hand on the edge with your fingers pointing out. Lean into that hand, and with the right hand, placing it on the right knee. Open up your chest, lean back a little bit so that you can straighten the right arm, press that knee out. So now it becomes a bit of a hip opener as well as a stretch for the front. So I hope you can see this from this side. We'll show the other side in a second. If this is not enough yet, you maybe want to move your hips back, bend the left knee, reach for that foot, but try to hold on to the little toe sides and then come back into it. Again, finding your breath, relaxing into it. For a couple more breaths, wherever you are in this pose, in this variation. And then gently drop that foot down. Come back to a child's pose. Take a moment here. Just a little moment. Coming forward this time with the left foot. And just bouncing back and forth. And this might already hurt. So if this is already enough, stay here. Don't let yourself be pushed into something or let me talk you into something that is not good for you. I'd always say use your intuition. Maybe go a little bit further. If that's the case, with your hands flat on the floor, on your fingertips, walk that foot a little bit out to the front foot so that you've got more space. Drop the knee out if it feels good. Stay here. Maybe place the right hand on the outside, fingers pointing diagonally out, leaning into that right hand. And then I place my left hand on that knee. Then I open up my chest. I lean back a little bit and then straighten that left arm, leaning into it. Maybe for a couple of breaths, you can stay here or you can bend the right knee. I'm holding on to the little toe side and then slowly getting back in. So I'm really at the front foot, I'm resting on the outside of my front foot. And my right hand that I'm resting on, I'm using the full width of my hand, not only the wrists, but really the balls of each finger, the fingertips themselves. Last breath. Slowly coming back into a child's pose, just to balance it out. And come and sit on your buttocks. Before we go to the twist, I'd like you to place your feet closer to your buttocks. So if I have my hands straight and then my middle fingers would be able to touch my heels, you see? All right. Inhale, take those hips up. And then take your hands over your head. Exhale, bring the hands down. Bring the hips down. Inhale, take the hands over your head, the hips follow. Exhale, bring the hips down and let the hands fall. So I'm also intuitively feeling like, oh, what is the nicest way to take the hands up first or then the hips? It's not necessarily that one should be first then the other one. I just find that which feels good for you. Inhale, take those hips up, let the hands follow. Now keep the hips up. Exhale, take the hands back down. And then interlace your fingers behind your back. Start walking the shoulder blades towards each other. So you open up the chest a bit further. So I'm looking at the camera right now, but I would not suggest that you look to the left or the right, especially not when you have your hips up. Maybe you can walk your shoulder blades a bit closer towards your heels. Press those heels into the floor. Try to keep your knees hip width apart. For just a couple more breaths, guys, you can do this. Relax your face. Press those heels into the floor, open up, and exhale, release those hands. So we're gonna come to a twist. Bring the buttocks or hips towards the right side of your mat. Pull the knees up, and then let's not make it too difficult. Let's drop the knees to the left. If you need support, like a pillow or blanket underneath your knees or in between, then just do it with your left hand, holding on to the top of the right knee. Now, I always like to press the elbows into the floor, lift the upper body a bit further, so that also my right shoulder blade is touching the mat. My right arm goes towards the right, and I look over the right shoulder, whilst my knees point to the left. Let's see whether we can relax here for a couple of breaths. Relaxing the shoulders, both the left and the right. Notice the breath again. Sometimes your shoulder comes up on an inhale. Maybe you are doing just too much. Last exhale here. And with your knees still pulled up, it's a really safe way to move to the middle. But my hips are on the right side. So With my hands pressed into the floor, I move the hips towards the left and then drop my knees to the right. Again, looking over the left shoulder this time, whilst the knees point to the right. My right hand can hold on to the outside of my left. So this is a version, and you can also go deeper by wrapping the left knee around the right, but not necessarily. Just stay here. It's already a really good stretch. But also if you don't feel that much depth in a stretch, just trust the process that there's absolutely something going on. With your eyes closed, your jaws relaxed. For a couple more breaths here. Just observing the sensations coming up and going. Can you relax both shoulders? Last breath here. And bring your knees back to the middle. Bring your hips back to the middle. And with your hands holding onto the knees from the outside, start to bring your knees a bit wider and just move in your own way, really. Just make circles on the spot with your knees. Or you can just roll from the left to the right a little bit. Bring your knees together again. Hold on to the back of your knees. Start to roll back and forth. Just massaging your spine a little bit. And then come and sit up straight. And let's come forward. It's a nice hip opener. We haven't really done that much with the hips, but to finish this practice, maybe just coming forward, and I'm resting my elbows against my shins, my knees. Some of you might be so flexible that they can rest their whole forearm on the floor. Relaxing the neck, the shoulders. Again, bringing your focus to that spot in between the eyebrows. Even with your eyes closed, listening to the sounds of your breath. Just to give both sides of our body an equal chance, we can come and sit up. Now, I've got my left foot in front of the right, so I'm just going to simply switch sides. Come back forward for the last so many breaths. Let's see. I instantly feel it in different places. Somewhat the same, but just slightly different. My buttocks, a little bit on the outside of my legs, but that's for me. So maybe you feel it in other spaces as well. Last couple of breaths. And obviously you can do these poses as well, independently from each other, whenever you want, at any moment in the day. So just notice what the poses are doing for you and whether you have a preference for specific poses because your body just needs it more. And slowly come up. With your hands on your knees, sitting up straight, letting the crown of your head reach for the ceiling. With your eyes closed, just observe all the sensations in your body. Just noticing that sense of peacefulness inside of you. You can bring your hands in front of your heart if you want. It's just a way to center ourselves, the moment to bring gratitude to ourselves for taking time to do this practice, to heal our body, or at least to maintain it. So taking a little bow forward, again, is just an honoring to our own practice. Slowly come back up. All right. I wish you a very nice continuation of your day and hope to see you next time. Namaste. Hope you enjoy this. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this practice. As you can see, it's really not that challenging. But having said that, I know that there's always people that maybe are going through moments in their lives where they have to recover from injuries, or where they just have never really done any yoga practice. So hopefully these give you a nice idea of what you can do with your body. It's simple as long as you use your breath. Um, and I'm happy to guide you through it. So if you've got any questions, just email me and I can help you out. All right, take care.